The alarm rings before sunrise. Most people hit snooze. A few people stand up anyway. That tiny decision changes more lives than talent ever could. Every champion has one secret. It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not being fearless. It is refusing to quit when quitting feels reasonable. Think about that for a moment. Every dream begins with excitement. Everything feels possible. Progress comes quickly. People notice your effort. They encourage you. Then something changes. The results slow down. The excitement fades. The mistakes become impossible to ignore. Doubt quietly enters your mind. A single question appears. What if I'm simply not good enough? This is where most journeys end. Psychologist Angela Duckworth spent years studying high achievers. She discovered that success depended less on talent than on something she called grit. Grit is the combination of passion and perseverance for long-term goals. It means continuing even when success feels far away. Talent may open a door. Persistence decides whether you walk through it. History proves this again and again. Thomas Edison tested thousands of materials before creating a practical light bulb. People remember the invention. Few remember the failures behind it. When asked about those failed attempts, he explained that he had simply found thousands of methods that did not work. Every failure became information. Imagine stopping after the 100th attempt. The world might have waited years longer for that breakthrough. Failure is often misunderstood. Most people see failure as the opposite of success. Reality is different. Failure is usually part of success. Every mistake teaches something that success never could. Researchers studying how the brain learns have found that making errors activates systems responsible for adapting future behavior. The brain grows stronger when it identifies mistakes and corrects them. Failure is not always a warning sign. Sometimes it is proof that learning is happening. Have you ever wondered why children learn to walk so quickly? A baby falls hundreds of times. No baby decides walking is impossible. They stand up again. They adjust. Eventually, they succeed. Adults often do the opposite. One rejection feels permanent. One mistake becomes an identity. I failed. Slowly becomes, I am a failure. Those are completely different statements. Successful people never confuse the two. Consider J.K. Rowling. Before publishing her first novel, she received repeated rejection letters from publishers. Many people would have stopped. She didn't. One publisher finally said yes. The result became one of the best-selling book series in history. The world remembers the success. Almost nobody remembers the rejection letters. The same pattern appears in sports. Michael Jordan once said he had missed thousands of shots during his career. He lost hundreds of games. He repeatedly trusted himself with the final shot and missed. His conclusion surprised millions. He believed those failures were exactly why he succeeded. Confidence is not believing you will never fail. Confidence is believing failure cannot stop you. That changes everything. What happens when nobody believes in you? Sometimes nothing changes. Sometimes everything begins. Abraham Lincoln experienced repeated business failures, election defeats, and personal tragedy before eventually becoming President of the United States. His story reminds us that setbacks rarely predict the ending. They only describe the current chapter. Modern psychology supports this idea. Research by Carol Dweck introduced the concept of the growth mindset. People with a growth mindset believe abilities improve through effort and learning. People with a fixed mindset believe abilities rarely change. That single belief influences decisions every day. One person sees failure as evidence to stop. Another sees evidence to improve. The obstacle stays the same. The meaning changes completely. Imagine two climbers facing the same mountain. One sees a wall, the other sees a path. The mountain never changed. Only the perspective did. Real winners understand something most people forget. Motivation disappears. Discipline remains. Nobody feels inspired every morning. Champions train anyway. Writers write anyway. Scientists experiment anyway. Builders build anyway. Small actions repeated for years become extraordinary lives. Not because each action is impressive, because consistency quietly compounds. Every page, every workout, every practice session, every difficult conversation, every small improvement. Together, they become a life that looks impossible from the outside. People call it overnight success. They never saw the thousands of ordinary days that created it. So the next time life tells you to quit, pause for one moment. Ask yourself one question. What if the next attempt changes everything? You may never know unless you keep moving. Real winners are not people who never lose. They are people who refuse to let losing become the final chapter. Years from now, nobody will remember how many times you almost gave up. They will remember whether you kept going. The greatest victory is not defeating another person. It is defeating the voice inside you that whispers, "Stop." Because every time you choose to continue, you become someone stronger than you were yesterday. And perhaps that is what winning has meant all along.